Okay, are we ready, Janine?
Yes, sir.
Before I get started, as you can see, Mr. Catterton is not here. I guess his name was not put forward to be appointed, and he asked to be relieved. Nothing is official, but he just didn't want to. He just felt a little awkward, and asked to be relieved until the governor replaces him. You know, he's officially on, but he's asked not to be here. So I just want to say that. Janine, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Has the media been notified?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Ms. Fair, can I get the invocation, please?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for another opportunity to come together to do your work. We acknowledge that you are all powerful, all knowing, and that you know everything, oh God. We ask that you be in the midst of this meeting tonight, be with the chair that he directs this meeting tonight. We ask that you guide and lead us in doing what is pleasing to you in this meeting tonight. This we ask in the most powerful name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Fair. Amen.
Amen.
We'll go ahead and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America.
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
one nation,
Under
under God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty, and
and
justice.
justice for all. Thank you. And I guess we're all going to get used to this thing. This is the third time I've done a Zoom, and I'm sure y'all have done it more. It does feel a little funny still to me, but we'll get there. All right, so I'm going to move down to the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion?
So move.
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so I'm going to list off the approval of the minutes. Go ahead.
Chairman Azzello, just for video purposes, when you call for the motion and you call for approval, if they just raise their hands, so you.
Okay. Do you have the motion and the second on that?
I do. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we can go on to the next one and do it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So on the approval of the minutes, I'm going to call out all 4 dates. So the February 27th, 2020 board meeting minutes, as well as the March 4th, 2020 budget meeting minutes, as well as the March 5th, 2020 DPP canvas hearing minutes, as well as the June 11th, 2020 primary canvas hearing minutes. Can I get a motion to approve these 4 minutes?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the 4 minutes that you just read off.
Okay,
Second.
and I have a second, Ms. Dobson. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Janine, just tell us so we'll all know on the public comment. I know that people, if they want to do public comment, they were supposed to write in and give you the question. And do we have anything for public
No,
comment?
sir, we did not receive any public comments.
Okay, but in the future, if everybody know, all they have to do is submit it in
Yes, sir.
writing. Okay. Thank you. All right, we're going to move down to new business. Discussion of ballot drop boxes. Now, Pam was the initiator of this. Pam, I know you had some questions and Janine got some answers. Would you like to open the floor with this?
Yes, I'd like to know, am I
You're on.
on?
I hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to know if in South Carolina, we're going to be able to have drop boxes. If so, a site that we could put it where it would be meeting with the standards as set forth in the packet that's in our package that was sent to us.
Marcy Andino, Executive Director at the State Election Commission, in our directors meeting did mention drop boxes that they were going to purchase for all of the counties. But there is a bill out there, I want to say 5303, where certain things in the bill that may not allow us to have a drop boxes. So we're waiting still to hear on that from Marcy, but they did do a requisition, a purchase order to order drop boxes for the counties, and you will get one each, and that drop box will be stored at the voter registration office.
The question, does that box have to be manned 24 hours a day? When I was reading some literature, it said that it had to be dropped off and someone at the office had to give it a number or assign something to it. And that,
Yeah, if that law H5305, if that particular amendment is passed, then someone has to mandate it. But if that amended law is not passed, then we can have the drop box and don't have to worry about mandating. So it's just, we're waiting to see, like I said, whether this legislative piece is going to be amended or not.
right, because if it has to be staffed, that defeats the purpose of having a
Absolutely.
box. You know?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I guess if we get this 530-5 to go through, we need to really think about where we would put the drop box, where it is under security, et cetera, if it's a 24-hour drop.
Right.
And
Right.
In reading what you had submitted and looking at other places, it was at libraries, and I guess for here it would be someplace in the county council area where we have security cameras. I don't know if your office has security cameras or not.
We do have cameras outside the office, and the purpose of the drop box is to have it outside so the voter can get to it. And if we are able to have it, we want to get it cemented down in the ground so nobody can tamper with it, and just have a lock, of course, on it, and be able to unlock it, you know, with another staff member or board member, however we decide to handle that when it's time to take the ballots out.
You know, I don't want to do that, right?
Okay.
Well, if the law
Yes.
if the law allows for us to do it and that bill goes through, I'm assuming nobody would have any objection. I mean, we would just go ahead and instruct you to go ahead and follow that and go ahead and do whatever they allow us to do, right?
Absolutely. Yes, we will follow
Everybody
the
feels
law
that
and the
way.
standards of that ballot box.
So we don't have to come back and, you know, that I'm just wanting to clear that up. If they tell you to do it, you can. It's not a matter of us. You just can do
Right.
it, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Here, I have a question. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay. So now, the state will be giving us one drop box. Am I right on that?
We can't hear you going in and out, Ms. Fair.
Okay, the state said that they will give us one drop box. I don't know why you can't hear me because I'm speaking close to.
Can I repeat your question? Because I can hear you, Carrie. She's asking, the state has allowed us one drop box, was her question. Now, I'm assuming that until that bill passes or fail, we can't put any drop box out yet, even though
That
the
is
state
correct.
says that they may have one or more available to us.
The state will provide us, if given permission, one drop box.
Okay, so my second part of the question will be, if we are only provided one drop box by the state, will we be able to purchase any from our budget?
There is a law basically out there that prevents drop boxes. Marcy was talking about, and that's why they're trying to deal with this new legislative piece to get at least one. But there are counties in the state of South Carolina that already have drop boxes. So it's a little confusing, and that's why, you know, I'm just waiting to hear what we need to do, if anything, pertaining to a ballot drop box.
Right, whether we can get additional boxes.
I didn't hear you.
whether we could get additional boxes if the
Right.
bill.
Right. Whether we can get additional or we just have to have the one.
Right, okay.
Ms. Dobson, I think you wanted to say something?
Well, I was just asking, I mean, basically, where we stand now is we are waiting on legislation. And if Janine's office is where they pick up the absentee ballots now, then that would be the most feasible place, I would think, for a drop box would be, since she has a camera on the outside, if we gonna go that way. Almost like Pam with this, Miss Williams with, we've been surviving, but I guess now everybody wants, because it's the presidential election, wants all these means, and we've been providing means the whole time. So I'm just for waiting to see what legislations say.
Question.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
the summary was very good. But we understand that no decision has been made yet. And so I think Janine said from the very beginning, the one drop box that the state is providing will be in front of the Board of Election office. And I think, Joe, you just talked about it will be cemented down, and the camera will be watching everything. And so I just brought up the question is that could we, if it's possible, and if it's lawful for us to get more, if possible. And then from there, we'll decide where to go. Because we got the whole county to deal with.
Sure.
Yes, if the state allows us to have more than one ballot box, Ms. Fair, we can definitely look into our budget or even go to council if need be to have the budget amended to purchase however many the board chooses to get. But we first got to deal with the fact, can we even get one? So once we get that clarified, then we can deal with, can we get 2? Can we get 3? Can we get 4? And then go from there.
Okay, Dr. Edwards, I think you were trying to say something, and Pam as well. Whichever one first.
I'll go ahead. There is a lot of misinformation and fear out there about dropping off the ballots, mailing the ballots. And it's as though people think that we automatically count the ballot before we even scrutinize it. I just think there should be some way that we would inform or educate, the general population about how much goes into verifying these ballots, so that there would be less fear out there that something's going to be wrong or dead people going to vote or any of those kind of things out there. Because I don't think they realize, just talking with some of the people in my own family about the process, I don't think they realize how much scrutiny we put those ballots through before they're even counted.
Pam?
Yeah, my question was, Janine, going back to what you said about the drop boxes, those areas or those districts that have drop boxes already, how did they do it? Do you know the process that they went through?
I haven't talked to any of them because I just found out that they had them. I didn't think anybody in South Carolina had them, and just doing a director's call, some counties mentioned, well, we already had them. Does that mean if this new legislation is passed, we cannot use our drop box? That was their question. So, and I don't even know how many counties out there have them.
And we
I
know
know
how many,
Anderson is one county, but I don't know what other county.
and we know how many ballots are going out. And so we also know how many ballots we count. And so it's not, and people need to know that.
Yeah.
Can I go back to a statement made by Ms. Dobson? The reason why I was pushing the drop boxes is because of the COVID. There are people that don't want to come in to a building. So therefore, if 24/7 they can drop off their ballot, or they're not, or they're working during that 9 to 5 period where they're trying to say that that's where they should be a staff there to collect them, they can drop it off Saturday night, Sunday night, Friday night. It's just making it more accessible and less people have to stand online to vote. And that's another thing I guess we need to look at, the people standing online come November.
Okay, it's back on now.
All right, well, I guess if we, once we find out if something changes in the law, we'll go ahead and go from there. But I'm like you, Janine. I think it's a good idea. I think because we know how many ballots there are, if we see too many of somebody's stuff in or whatever, I don't know if that's possible, we'll know. And I don't know why people are too concerned about it, but I'm not. But anyway, I'd like to move on if there's nothing else on this one.
I-
Um,
Can
Go
I
ahead.
go to Dr. Edwards? I think because on television, people have been told to vote twice. There is some concern. I know you're not supposed to do it and you can't do it and you shouldn't do it, but that's not saying that it isn't done. And I guess the concern that's being raised there as to the process that we go through when we look at the ballots. You know, how do we know someone's not voting twice?
And
I know.
my thing,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. It's your turn.
No, what I wanted to say is getting back to what Ms. Edwards was saying is that I do think that's a very big concern that the community has. I've been asked the same question. We got to find a way to show those people exactly what's going on. I don't know how we go about doing it through the media or what, but they do have questions about that.
Sure.
Can we invite people in, which we have done, and it's already open, for them to come in if they want and watch us opening, counting the ballots, et cetera, the process that we go through. And maybe, like you said, Mr. Kanek, through the media, letting them, advising people as to how it's done.
Yeah.
And I think we did that this time when we had the primary. They just couldn't come in close because of COVID. But they were some that had, matter of fact, I think one lady had the dead list. And she was checking that one to make sure that we didn't have any, but they can't be in close proximity because of COVID. But we did have them observed in June when we did the opening that early. I think we went in that Monday. They came and they sat outside the door where we were looking, and we was holding them up and calling out the names. So that is a possible way, Ms. Williams.
I'm always happy when people look at our
Right.
and we come out good. And Janine just always seems to, make sure it happens. All right. So the next thing we're going to have is discussion on hiring a vendor to mail absentee ballots. Janine, I'm gonna give that one to you.
Okay. There are 3 vendors out there that is offering this service, but they are extremely expensive. And I think with the amount of absentee ballots we're going to be sending out by mail, the office can handle it. They charge a flat fee for their service, and that does not even include postage. Okay, so you're talking anywhere from $2 or more just for their service, and on top of what the postage would be for the actual ballot, which is anywhere from $1.50 on up. Okay, so again, we can handle it. Our largest precinct is Sun City with the majority of absentee requests. The rest of them have like 50, 40, 80. So we don't see the need for that. But I did want to put it there to let you know that that was an option.
And Janine, you let us know if you see that you're needing more help for any reason. I mean, I'm sure this board will find a way to make it happen. If you need more.
Yes, we do have 2 temps coming in starting next week to help us get ready, because we got to get the military ballots out by the 19th. So we'll be working on that next week. The phones are really busy, so we got a total of 4 phone lines now. So we'll be dealing with that on top of getting ready to train poll workers starting next week as well. So we're going to have enough staff. Print-elect is coming in Monday to service our express votes machines, make sure they're ready for this election, which is a part of the maintenance contract service. through them. We are not paying the maintenance contract yet. Our part of that contract starts this fiscal year. So when we get billed this fiscal year, we'll be paying, but we didn't pay anything last year with the new system. Okay, so we're doing good. We're getting all our supplies in. So we're just waiting on the database to get the system actually programmed.
When did you get four
Janine.
lines? Oh, go ahead.
I
Go ahead, Ms.
I know it's not down here, but what, maybe you're gonna give it in your report. What are our status on poll workers?
Poll workers, we do have enough workers mandated at all the precincts. We can, if there are persons that are interested, we can put them somewhere, but we do have enough coverage, but we don't have the maximum coverage.
I got it.
Joe?
And
Yes,
that was my question.
go ahead, Pam. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, if you need someone to come in and help, I'm volunteering, as long as it's not 8 o'clock in the morning. I will definitely volunteer. If you know.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go.
No,
Miss
you have
Ken-
to be there at 9, Miss Williams.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
because Janine don't start at 87 election day.
that's
Mr.
good.
Kennedy, did you have something else, Mr.
Did
Kennedy?
Ms. Dobson asked my question.
Okay. All right. All right. So what the next thing I've got is assignment of board committees. What this is in the past, you know, we try to get 3 people on a board, on a committee for anything that comes up. And I have several things here. Of course, some of us are going to have to pull double duty. Janine, on security, is this going back to what we discussed a couple years ago on the, which would all be part of the refurbishing?
You muted, Janine.
You're muted.
Yep.
Sorry.
There you go.
The security is dealing again with our doors, the glass at the front, which is a part of all the refurbishing that we need to get done in the office. Our door is not handicap accessible. It's just too heavy. And it's not wide enough. And the cameras we have, you know, they need to be improved because the way they're set up right now, we really can't see a person that's actually right in front of the door. We can see them walking up the sidewalk, but once they're in front of that door, the camera doesn't allow to see their face. So things like that, if we can use somebody, you know, to be on that committee and help get those things taken care of.
Just to let you know, we did have some quotes a couple of years ago. We've been trying to do this a long time. But anyway, can I get 3 volunteers to go on a security?
I'll volunteer.
Okay. Anybody else?
You can be on more than one. So
Yeah, we're gonna be pulling double duty, I think.
I volunteer.
Mr. Koenig, okay. And I'll go on that one, Janine.
okay.
And I know we've got security and office refurbishment, but can we make that one? But both of them are kind of gonna be the same thing.
That's fine. Okay.
Same people are fine.
Yes.
Now, I know, I'm guessing, Ms. Bear would like to be on this one, voter registration drive. Ms. Bear, would you like to head that up?
Yeah, that's good.
I want to do that one, Joe.
Okay,
I think Ms. Edwards wanted to get on that one as well.
okay.
She might have lost her service, look like. Yeah, she's coming back now.
Ms. Edwards, can you hear us?
Ms. Edwards, you wanted to be.
I can hear you.
Okay, so that's 3. And, you know, if a 4th person wants to go on something, I don't see a problem with it. The
Do they
last
want to
one,
be a part of the voter registration drive, Ms. Edwards?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
and can you give us an overview, Janine, on the instruction manual?
Polling location.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry, I
polling
missed that.
locations before.
Yep, sorry.
The
All
polling
right.
location, the individual, of course, you know, can help. One, if you pick a polling location, one or two, you can help with one, getting poll workers in that area, okay? And two, you can help with moving the precincts, because we got a couple of precincts we need to go ahead and split and get relocated. So those individuals need to be involved in those two processes.
Yeah, and that-
Janine,
Go ahead.
Janine, speaking of precinct, what about St. Luke? We ever got that squared away? As far
We
as
have
the
not
Jasper-
spoken since the COVID, because we were scheduled to meet in April, but that's when COVID was going through, you know, since February, March, so we haven't had a chance to regroup on that.
Okay.
So basically on that, Janine, we're just gonna look at it, look at the numbers, see if something needs to be split. If we have a location that we don't like or is not. Anyway, whatever we come up with, and we carry that to the delegation, they have to give the final say so. And that's how it gets done. And
Yeah, I would like some persons to serve on a committee, you know, that can come back to the board with these ideas.
yep. And you know, these locations are hard to find, but I know we've got a couple already. Who would like to head that up?
This is the third committee you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, 1, 2, yeah, 3.
Because we dealt with two
The-
already.
Polling location. Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Cannon?
She's
I hear you
volunteering.
volunteering.
I didn't volunteer on that one.
Oh, God.
And
And
it's
you
almost
said
like,
basically, we would be going to see if we need additional polling locations.
Right.
Then if we can,
To move,
right, to move them.
right.
right.
Janine can look at the numbers and tell us
Mhm.
which ones are coming up, which one are getting too big, splitting. And then we have to try to find a place. And that's where it gets real hard, because we've actually gone out and talked to people at churches and different places, and it's very hard. But we have moved some, and we were successful. But what was it? Is it Robertsville? You're
No.
me again,
Well, Robert's
So that's-
right.
Janine. I think you're
I didn't hear you, sir.
unmuted. I got you now. I was. What would be the pressing one now?
The St. Luke definitely is something we need to look at, and we need to consider maybe with the population in Margaritaville, possibly getting a polling location in there. Or just like we have
In Sun City.
Lake House in Sun City, so because you know
Okay.
I'll shoot for it.
I'll be a part of that.
okay.
I'll shoot for it.
I have a question, Mr.
Any-
Chairman.
That's two. Anybody else?
I'll do it.
Miss Edwards?
Did you get
Okay.
me, Janine? Did y'all get me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
got you.
Margarita Village development, have that been completed yet? Are they still building?
People are still moving in there.
Moving in? You don't know what percentage of the people there have they completed? So that means that, are they halfway, a third, or?
Oh, I'm not sure, you know, as far as the completion in there, because it goes way back. It's deep in there, so.
I understand they're putting on about 7 or 8 roofs a week.
Okay.
You know, I only know that because I know the roofer. But you know, and Janine, have you ever heard of this? If we had somebody, say, in the Margaritaville area that's not on our board, but that, and I'm not just talking about this, but that we needed help with, that might know people that we could bring in. I believe the law allows us to form a committee with people that's not members if we ever needed that.
Mhm.
Have you ever heard of that?
You mean community people coming in and be a part of the committee?
Yeah. Yeah, making a committee out of people that aren't necessarily on the board. Have you ever heard of that? I thought I read that in the law.
I would have to check into it because I'm not sure.
The only reason I'm saying is I don't know a lot of people in there. Somebody might know somebody that knows somebody in these locations, whatever they are, because you almost need to
Know somebody.
right, or know the pastor or something. And if you know somebody, I don't think it would be a problem if we had somebody helping us with that.
Right. I can find out more on that.
I'm just saying, I know John was good because he knew people over there. John's not with us, but just an odd thought,
That's a
Know
that's a good
someone that
thought.
works out there.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Okay,
When a development comes together like this, they would have formed a tenant association, a neighborhood association. So we probably need to know how that has been done. And if that has been done, we probably need to get in touch with those leaders within the village.
it's a great idea.
I have a question. Since when someone is assigned to the board, they have to go through the state and background checks. How would we, that person would have to have some type of background check before they set on the board? I mean, I think that's the way it is.
Yeah, and I don't mean sitting on the board. We don't have the authority, but I mean somebody to help on a committee.
Committee.
But we'll check on that. But like I said, I'm pretty sure I've read this and I've heard this and been told this, but I don't want to say until I know. And we don't even have to look at it if nobody's interested in it. But I'm just saying, if somebody could help us that we knew,
That'd be great.
Find someone. Just like in Sun City.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know anybody in Sun City. I know some people, that used to sit on our board, Mrs. Al, and if he said, I know somebody, he could introduce somebody to somebody, it wouldn't hurt us to talk to him. I'm just saying it's going to be hard to find these places. I've talked to a lot of people in these other precincts, even with Hardyville. And Hardyville said they're going to help us with a place for this second office, the satellite office. Once this election gets over, that's going to be something we're going to work on. And that would definitely be another place you could put a drop box if that law goes through. But anyway, so do you have enough people for that one? For the polling location, Janine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. How about the instructional manual?
The instructional manual is the manual that Mr. Kemp had put together before he left the board, and just want to get a committee to keep that going. Any additions we need to add, things we may want to change or take out. So if we can get persons to take over that process.
On it.
Ms. Williams?
Yeah, it's just that thing just lays out. So like when we go into our canvassing hearing, it kind of lays everything out for us. We never had, I don't think the state ever gave us anything like that. When we do the counting that morning of the election, it's just a step by step. And I think some of it we might want to change a little, but it's very good to have. Because not everybody's like Janine can remember every step. I have to ask her so many times the same thing over and over. Anybody want to volunteer besides Pam? I can certainly help with it. Anybody else?
I'll help.
There you go. There you go. I think it's just going to be a matter of reading over it and just making sure we agree that it's up to date and change anything that we need to. If we decide to make any changes, we'll bring it before the whole board so the board can look at it and decide on those changes. And Janine, also, we're supposed to, is it once a year in June? We're supposed to look at our policy and procedures.
What procedures?
Isn't it policy and procedure manual that we're supposed to look at? I think in June. I can't remember the month. Is that right? I know we haven't always done it.
Right. Yes, sir.
I don't know if we could look at that while we're looking at the other
Okay.
and make sure. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything else on any of those? Okay. Now, I'm going to assume that the first person of each one of those will going to chair those committees. Do we need to call out chairs now? Or is just everybody gonna work on it? Do we need a chair for these committees?
Leave it up to you, Joe.
One more time?
Leave it up to you.
Oh, Lord. Well, I would just say the first person that volunteered, I think Pam was on the first on the security, and Miss Fair was on voter registration drive, and
Mr. Canick on polling location.
yep, and instruction manual, is that
Ms. Williams.
Pam again? Yep,
Yes.
easy enough. All right, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna move down to 9. Director's report.
Okay, Chairman and board members, is everyone going on ElectionNet? Because you really need to go on ElectionNet and get the up-to-date information. The state used to send us an email about updates on ElectionNet. When they changed over to the new link of that website, the email part of it got screwed up somehow. So you won't get an email notification of anything new on ElectionNet. So you definitely want to make that something that you look at every day. And the law we talked about, H 5305, is on there, which deals with these law changes pertaining to this election in November. Right now, we do not have the state of emergency on the absentee application, so that is not an option. So any voters that vote absentee, we have to choose 1 through 18 that exist on the application now. This bill is also looking at possibly, if it's passed, open out the outer envelopes as early as Sunday, November 1st, 7 o'clock that morning. And again, as early as 7 o'clock on Monday morning. And then you can open up the ballot with the hearing. The ballot that's in the hearing envelopes can be opened as early as 7 o'clock on election day and tallied, but of course results wouldn't go out till 7 p.m. once the election is over. So all of that is a part of this bill. So I say that to say, please read that bill. Yes, ma'am. Somebody said, oh, please read the bill, get familiar with the bill. It also talks about completed applications for absentee ballots must be received by the County Board of Election by 5 p.m. on Saturday, October 24th. If submitted by mail, by 5 p.m. on Friday, October 30th. And if submitted in person by the elector or the authorized representative, 5 on Monday, November 2nd. So a lot of those would be changes if this bill should pass that we have to get familiar with, because the community will probably have problems. And although we may post this in the office, on the websites, Facebook page we have, persons are still gonna have questions. So as board members walking out in the community, you need to be prepared to answer those questions for those voters, okay? Let's see, I'm just trying to read over. I already talked about examining the envelopes. Okay. And okay, that's it in that bill. And if you cannot get on ElectionNet, let me know so I can let the state know that you're having issues and they can get you on there. You probably want to make that your default internet page. So when you go on the internet, that's the first thing you'll see is ElectionNet and checking everything there. Okay, in your packet, I gave you presidential fail-safe procedures. Okay, anybody that leaves South Carolina and move to another state, they have a right to vote in the presidential only, presidential and vice president election, nothing, no other office. So if somebody moved from New Jersey into South Carolina after the deadline here, they have a right to vote for the president and vice president only. So we will issue them a ballot and we will draw an X through all the offices except president and vice president. So just again, familiarize yourself with those terms. It has not happened, but it doesn't mean it won't happen. Okay. And in your packet, it just talk about guidance for polling places. When we're dealing with the COVID, we have gotten in quite a bit. supplies. We got more Q-tips, more gloves, new face masks, the shields for the tables. So hand sanitizers. The state sent us 2 signature pads. So when a voter comes to the window now, they will sign the signature pad, which views their application. So when they're actually signing, they see the application and the signature, and that piece of paper gets attached to their voter registration file in our database. We still have to print the application, and the microbiome chemical that's used with this wand to sign their name, it does not have to be wiped down. That microbiome chemical, it cleans itself, in other words. We did receive 2 of those in our office, and we'll get with IT to make sure we get those connected and be ready for our absentee.
Ms. Bostic,
Yes, ma'am.
ask a question. Now,
Yes.
These are the new computers that will be, the database is electronically at all the precincts.
The signature part is only at absentee.
Right.
Okay, I haven't talked about the e-poll books. I'll get to that in a few minutes.
Okay, okay.
Okay. The state, we should be getting in the mail tomorrow. They call it an envelope opener. Supposedly it's supposed to open up those absentee envelopes for you.
Oh, good.
So, we're supposed to get that delivered tomorrow. So we'll see. You know, none of this stuff we've gotten, we have not had any training on yet. So it's like I say, everything is going to be like a rush, you know, but we want to make sure we get it done and get it done right. So just to let you know, a heads up. Okay, the electronic poll book. Those that went to the SCARE conference might have seen that. That is something new that ES&S is providing. The state is providing two per precinct. Of course, the larger precincts will have it. 2, you know, we'll see how the smaller ones, as far as you give them 2 or not. But anyway, those will be coming in shortly as well. And that will replace our laptops, okay? Supposed to be able to connect a printer to this e-poll book that allows you to run through that blank ballot card that goes in the express vote machine. And when it runs through that printer, it identifies that Janine gets a ballot style 1. So when I put it in the easy vote machine, ballot style 1 will pop up because that's identify all my district, school board, Senate, and House. So that's a plus. Each precinct would get 1 printer and 1 to 2 e-poll books. So that's
Does that mean no more chits?
no more
of the
chips.
little chit? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't have to give out the little chips for no. And the voter does all this. The poll worker does not have to touch the ballot card. Once it comes out the printer, the voter will take the card and take it to the machine. The poll worker would just observe and make sure the correct ballot did pop up for that voter and give them instructions of how to utilize the machine and go through the ballot to ensure they look at all the races. Okay, so that's a plus as well. Okay, trying to think, I think that's all the new stuff that we're going to be getting as far as equipment. Now, the e-poll books does come with a maintenance agreement, which I did send you guys. That maintenance agreement does not go into effect. In other words, we don't have to pay out our pocket until next fiscal year, July 1, 2021. Okay, just like our voting system, we have a maintenance agreement. We want to be able to have them come in and fix it and not be worried about coming out of our pocket with replacing these devices, okay, out of our pockets. Any questions so far about equipment?
Well, you mentioned that when we go and we start counting those ballots on election day, that we can use more than one machine to run them.
Oh, yes. Yes,
that's
we
gonna
have
be-
enough DS200s. The state has provided us with several DS200s. So if we want to set up 3, I think we have enough where we can set up 4. So
And
we
you
can
s-
make it happen to run those ballots through it to make the day go quicker. Okay.
And you said right now you have about 2,500 applications for these absentees.
We are at 2,400. When I left, we were like 2,436. That was the application number. And they're coming in every day, okay? Every day. And this election does involve the city of Hardyville mayor and city council. So we will be billing them for their portion of doing that election for them. So, and all of that will be on one ballot. All of the machines will be programmed that way as well. So all of that will come up Voter Pacific, okay?
And my last question is, do you have any information on this letter opener?
Oh,
I mean, is it gonna do the, is that gonna do the big one and the little ones, and we don't know yet?
I don't know the details of what it's going to do, but it does, like I said, a story on it is on ElectionNet, just letting us know that they were looking at it. Again, like I said, we haven't had any training or what it does, you know,
Well,
whether it's all of them or just the big ones, I don't know.
I know there's a lot of apprehension for a lot of people on this upcoming election, but you know, this board did such a good job on this last one. And now that we have more machines that we can run these, if we have a letter opener, I mean, it's just a matter of numbers then, you know?
Exactly,
I mean,
exactly. You know, it's going to be a long day, you know, because you're going to have a lot more ballots to deal with. But I think the process, once we get a handle of using the equipment, like you said, we'll get along. You know, I'm projecting we'll still get out of there by 9 o'clock. So we're going to make it happen.
anybody can do it.
Okay. And that was it on equipment. I gave you a copy of the budget performance report that Kim sent from finance. Any questions on that? Okay. I was contacted by Trav Robinson. He's the chairman of the state Democratic Party yesterday, and letting me know, and other counties as well, that there is a grant out there that they are giving counties money to help with this election, whether it's poll workers, ballot boxes, satellite offices, various things. And Charleston County got $700,000. So I put in that application yesterday, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. The Jasper County will get maybe half of that to do some things, but I'll let you guys know. I've already let Kim know in finance that that was done because I had to send a W-9 on our county to them. So prayerfully something good will come out of that. Okay. And the voter registration totals, this report is from August 23rd. At that time, it was 20,647. I'm sorry, 21,088. Okay, so we had an increase. The report for that was from June 7th. So we had an increase of 441 voters. Okay, so you're talking about a month and a half, 441 new people. Okay. So that is my report. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. When does the absentee office open up?
We are letting everyone know October 5th. However, the state is trying to get us ready where we can possibly open a week early, meaning September 28th.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
once the state gets everything and the database pass inspection and approved, if we can be open the 28th, we will be blasting that in the newspaper, social media, you know, to let everybody know you can come now. And we will be open October 31st, that Saturday, from 9 to 1 to catch those voters that couldn't get there during the week. Okay. And I did mail you out a memo with all the dates and locations of the poll workers training that are coming up this month and next month as well.
All right, I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm sure it's in the mail.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We put it in the mail, matter of fact, yesterday.
Oh, good, okay, all right.
Anything else for Janine?
Thorough job. Thank you.
Huh?
But please, thank you for your thoroughness, but please me on ElectionNet. I need to be on ElectionNet because I'm having problems. Right, I can get my email to my cell phone, but I cannot log on from my desktop into their office. So I don't know what I may have to just give them another email ElectionNet. And I know they want to use the county one, but again, I'm having issues with the county.
Okay, so your personal home desktop is not allowing you to get on the county email? Okay,
No, ma'am. But because it's on my phone and I never log out, I
right,
can get your emails.
okay.
Right.
I will mention it to Mr. Bostic to see if some suggestions. I don't know if something is blocking it, you know, or the type of firewall we have could not be allowing it to come through because, you know, they have updated quite a bit in IT since we got that virus, but I'll check with him on
Right,
that.
and okay.
I just want to make a comment, well, just ask, that I'm sure everybody might have received the postcard from the post office, also asking people they're gonna do absentee voting to please plan and do it ahead of time. As you know, the postmaster was in front of, I think, Congress or one of those committees in reference whether the mail is going to be getting out on time or whether anything is going to be stopping the absentee vote from coming in. So it looks like a lot of the organizations are working together in order to pull this together. So I guess we do our part, they do their part, everything should come out all right. But I did get a postcard from the post office today asking people to plan ahead to mail their absentee votes.
Yes, I received one too, Ms. Fair, today.
Yeah, there's a card out there that individuals telling them that they may not be registered to call the voter registration office and check your voter registration. The state got involved with that because the card is being signed by different people and is causing confusion. People thinking they're no longer registered. So the state was contacting that particular group, asking them to stop that because it's confusing the voter. But there is a card out there that's being sent out where people can request an absentee application for a ballot. But that other card was just confusing our voters because we got plenty of people saying, well, I voted in June, why am I not on the log? And of course, we verify you're still on the log. They think we sent it because our phone number's on there, but we didn't send anything.
A couple of weeks ago when I did that cybersecurity training, they said that the Postmaster General stated that they're ready for any eventuality
That's
that
what
they
he said.
don't see a concern.
Mhm.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about, and
Mhm.
it's scary, you know, if a group asks you to send them your registration, you know, does it get turned in? Does it not?
Mhm.
And it could be targeted. Who knows? But everybody's got to. It's all over the world. Everybody's got to do their part.
Right.
Janine, do you have anything else?
We have 45 ballot styles. Some precinct have as many as 8. So, you know, with this printer being at the precinct, that's going to be a big plus to ensure the voter gets the correct ballot style when they go to vote on our machines. So I'm excited with the new stuff, and I'm really excited about this election coming and going.
And hopefully you will have the new equipment that's coming in. So they will be with you at training as well, when you train the poll watchers and the clerks, managers. You know, the new stuff that you talked about today? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because I would like to see that opener and that notebook, that new notebook that's coming in.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hopefully that'll be coming in shortly so we can do that. Because the clerks get a second training, so that would be really when they do a lot of their hands-on, and their training will be like the last 2 Saturdays, which will be the 17th and the 24th before the Saturday that we are opening the office. So that's going to be a long process to ensure that they grasp that process of that new system. And they are aware of that. I've already let them know in their memo, you know, and that's why I spread it out. We're going to be training in our larger precincts, St. Stephen's Fellowship Hall, Kingdom Touch. We're going to be training in there, Levy Community Center, Robertsville Community Center, Coosawhatchee Community Center. We're even training at the Sun City Lake House. So I already gotten those dates set in. So it's going to be smaller groups. 3 to 4 precincts in one place, so you don't have 7 and 8 precincts at one time and all these people and all this talking, because this is an important election and
Right.
the workers need to be focused. So, you know, and I've told them, you know, the 3 hours may turn into 4, may turn into 5. Just be prepared. The poll workers will get the county supplement. I think I told you in an email that they did approve the poll workers' pay increase. So that's a plus as well. And if we get this grant, you know, as a board, we can decide, maybe we want to give them a little more extra, but we can decide that if the grant should come through.
Mhm. Well, hopefully the grant comes through.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else for Janine? You have nothing else, Janine?
No, sir, that's it.
Okay, we'll move down to chairman's report. The only thing I have is, I believe, South Carolina Votes changed their website or webpage to southcarolinaVotes.org. Is that correct?
They changed it to .gov,
.org,
.gov, scvotes.gov,
from org, right?
from org, yes, sir.
Because they said it made it look more like a government. People want to make sure we're in the right place. But the reason I'm saying this is not, you know, if anybody else is watching, all you got to do is go to southcarolina.gov and you can put your information in, tell you where your precinct is. So you don't have to call Janine. It's all right there. And like I said, this is just for anybody watching this. Check it, make sure you know where you're registered, make sure there's no problem, get it straightened out before. That'll save a lot of trouble.
And it also gives you the status of your absentee. It tells you that your ballot was mailed. It tells you that your ballot was received by the office. So you get all that information as well.
Beautiful. Well, that's all I have. I'm going to move down to board issues and concerns. Does anyone have any?
No, basically, my concern is that, this is gonna be, I'm looking for it to be a smooth election. But some of my concern is that we're up and ready to roll on election day. When we start working, and everything go as smooth as possible. Janine seems to have everything organized at the office, everything is organized, so we be organized and do what we have to do, it would go smooth. You'll probably be tired, but it'll be smooth.
And I just want to mention, you know, if Ms. Wild does come in with the list of the dead people, the absentee log is there. So she can take that absentee log and compare it with her list. That way you don't have to call out 2,500 voters' name, you know. That's something y'all can be doing, examining the signatures while she's going through that log. And it can be printed in alphabetical order to make it easier for her to go through, as well as observe what you guys is doing as well. And that is always available the Monday before the election. And if we start early, I'm sure the state probably will allow it to be print early if we decide to start earlier than Monday.
I think it might be best if I get with you and just figure out and make sure she's aware of that.
Okay.
Because it took a lot of time last time out of our very precious time.
Mhm.
And if we can slow that, I mean, as long as she's satisfied, and it works great.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? Any topics for the next meeting?
We're gonna still stay on top of, this is September, so you still have the training, so I guess we'll get a report on what's going on with training and equipment and stuff like that from the office. So other than that, I don't have anything else.
Okay. If anything comes up between now and the next meeting, just let me know. Let Janine know. We'll get it on there. I'm sure we'll have a few things that's going to get on there anyway. If there's nothing else, I'm going to call for a motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
All right. That was Miss Pam.
No.
Who made the motion? Miss Fair. Okay. Can I get a second?
So move.
Need a second.
Yeah, no, I know, I'm sorry.
Pam made a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank y'all very much. And that I was worried about this meeting, how it was going to go, you know, a little, but it was great. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all.
Okay.
Have a great night, everyone.